We're focused on supermarket prices, and meanwhile Peter Dutton's just out there starting another culture war about Australia Day and about thongs and flags.
He's so low on policy, he has no policies, so he's looking for a headline by creating division.
With one sentence, opposition leader Peter Dutton ignited a political storm.
I think people should boycott Woolworths. I would advise very strongly to take your business elsewhere.
Calling on the nation to boycott the supermarket giant over its decision to ditch Australia Day merchandise.
I think it's up to customers whether they want to go in and buy the product or not.
I think we should be boycotting those who are prepared to not be proud of this country.
If Woolworths don't want to be part of Australia Day, then I can't see why people should go shopping there until you realise that your job is a retailer, not a politician.
Woolworths confirmed no additional Australia Day merchandise would be sold in its supermarkets or in Big W earlier this week, citing a gradual decline in customer demand.
Rather than reduce Australia Day, try reducing the prices and help people out with the cost of living.
But the move by Woolworths is part of a growing trend. Aldi has also announced it will ditch the merch, while Kmart stopped selling its stock last year. Coles, in contrast, is choosing to sell a small range of what it calls Australian-themed summer entertaining merchandise.
For a long time now, Australians haven't bought in or subscribed to this day, which is celebrating a lie.
The government today insisting there are no plans to change the date of the national holiday.
What I'd be suggesting to people is if they want to celebrate Australia Day, buy Australian lamb, put some Australian fruit on your pavlova. They're the kind of things that we can do to celebrate Australia Day without getting caught up in these kind of divisive culture wars that just take the country backwards.
So as the annual debate over January 26 starts earlier and earlier, where to from here?
Attitudes are continuing to change on Jan 26. Big business are starting to see that it's actually bad for business. So to say that this is political is just absolutely stupid.
Indigenous leader Warren Mundine, who is an advocate for changing the date of Australia Day, joins us now. Warren, will you be boycotting Woolworths?
No, look, I did this in the referendum campaign about Qantas, but, you know, the crew of Qantas, their pilots, their ground crew and that, they all come up to me and said they voted no, so I wasn't going to boycott Qantas because those people need the job. And the same thing goes for why should the employees, the staff, the people who work in Woolworths suffer because of the morons that are sitting at the board and the senior executives.
So you won't be boycotting Woolworths and Kmart like your leader of your party?
No, not really. Look, I understand why people are like that, but my main concern is about the employees. Because I like to see people in jobs. I like to see people working, and I like to see a whole lot of things like that happening. You know, and the nonsense that, you know, Murray Watt, I've known Murray Watt for years. You know, the talk about twisting, you know, fake news. You know, saying that the coalition and that started this culture wars. Who's the ones who are talking about division? They're talking about division in regard to Australia Day. Now, whether you all know, I want to change the date, but no matter what date it is on, it's about Australia. It's about Australians, and we in the last 60 years, you know, especially post Second World War, have got a whole wide range of migrants coming in this country. In fact, 50% of Australians have been born overseas, or their parents have been born overseas. They've come to this country. They made, you know, they worked hard and they made this country a beautiful country it is. They're proud to be Australians. I'm proud that they chose to Australia to come here and contribute to
no one's debating that. It's more that Peter Dutton has said that.
Really?
No, we're not. Like, I celebrate it. Members of my family who celebrate Australia Day. I choose not to. But this whole idea is Peter Dutton is saying this is the reason we're having this discussion is he has raised it as a topic. Do you think it's the job of politicians to be dictating where we shop, Warren?
I dispute that.
You heard the quote earlier.
It was raised by Woolworths. It was raised
technically it was Kmart last year.
By banning that stuff. That's exactly right. They're the ones who raised it. And now we got into the situation. So don't rewind history. The facts are Woolworths raised it. It got into the media because of Woolworths stance, and it got into the media because of Aldi. Who cares about Aldi? They're a bunch of Germans. We know their track record, so they can go back to where they've come from. Now, we got something to celebrate about this country. We got 60,000 years. We've got people who have been here for 5 minutes. We've had migrants and refugees and a whole wide range of people. And we've got an incredible thing to celebrate about our liberal democracies, about our freedoms, about people. Millions of people want to come here. You know that Stuart bloke. He's just wants to have division and racial attacks. So we don't want to listen to those type of people. We want to talk about how wonderful we had this melting pot here. We don't have the problems that people have overseas. We have this incredible country. Let's celebrate it. Now all we've got to do is work out a date.
Do you think then it's appropriate?
Sorry,
Warren, do you think that then it's appropriate for politicians to be advocating for boycotts of private businesses then? Is that appropriate?
It's up. Look, we live in a free society. I expressed my view.
But if we live in a free society, aren't those companies then free to not sell stuff they don't want to sell?
These people, look, we're going into a rollerball situation. I know that you people are too young to know rollerball. It was about society that was taken over by corporates. Corporates, they haven't learnt the lesson of the referendum. They all supported the yes vote and they all got their ass kicked. And so it's about time that these corporates woke up to themselves. My better advice would be let's all buy shares in Woolworths, let's all go to the next AGM and let's get rid of the board and get rid of the management and then get people in there who actually like Australia.
Okay, well, Warren, we appreciate your time.
I just appreciate you calling me young, but agree to disagree.
Well, you still got the dark hair, mate. Look at you. I don't know about Georgie, but she mentioned she's at an age about the mean girls. But anyway,
all right. Well, thank you very much, Warren. Appreciate the time. Look, I feel it's a little bit of Peter Dutton's put the bait in the water. We're all biting. It's been a couple of days' worth of discussion on something that was a story really from last year that's happening again.
Yes.
Again, it's like, the debate is not really whether, if you want to go and buy Australian Day merchandise, there are places you can do it. If you don't, you don't. And I think we should be allowed, you shouldn't have to be asked which line do you stand on.
Why is Peter Dutton buying his Australian flags at Woolworths? Like he wants to be Prime Minister. Shouldn't he?
The ones from last year?
Yeah, or it's all made in China. Like he should be getting...
Well, that's a good point as well.
He should be getting Australian flags made in Australia by local flag makers.